break. Kind of excited to watch the team play. But, we all know it probably won't be the most exciting match. Torino this year, one of the, if not the worst team in Serie A, and the Gianpaolo Ball, the guy that last year AC Milan fans thought it was like the new Arrigo Sacchi, the new Maurizio Sarri, and it turned out to be, not that good at all. And he's doing even worse, if it was possible, doing even worse at Torino, who are conceding goals left, right, and centre. Still playing that 4-3-1-2 that he was tried to play at AC Milan, and has served him well when he was at Sampdoria, but it's just not working out. So all in all, it's probably a good time to play Torino. They're not in good form. They've only had one win all season. They leak goals like crazy at the back. Their best centre back, the best defender, Armando Izzo, is currently out with an injury, which is good. When you look at that lineup there, Bremer and Lianco at the back, the Who Scored predicted lineup, it's not a very good lineup at all. There's not one player that I would have in my Inter lineup. Maybe Salvatore Sirigu, I would say, probably. At the moment, we'll probably have any keeper over Handanovic, even though Sirigu has had a pretty shaky start to the season, so probably even there I wouldn't be so certain about having him in our team. Belotti obviously is there, the quality, the one bit of real quality in their team, who's having a real good season after a few average seasons at Torino. After 3 or 4 seasons ago he exploded onto the scene with 20 something goals, but ever since then kind of quieting down. But this season he's scoring a lot of goals. He's already got 6 goals. He even got more than Lukaku in a team that really does not provide him with much service. So pretty impressive. I wouldn't be surprised to see him getting a goal against Inter. Remember last year Handanovic dropped an absolute clanger. That was one of the signs that we saw of Handanovic's decline last year. Again, against the Torino in general, he seems to have a few shockers. I remember a few years ago he had that one against Belotti again, where he just took the ball around Handanovic and he was a statue-like. Then last year, obviously, he just dropped the ball. The ball just dropped from a simple corner kick. That was crazy. But, I'm a bit more positive. I'm not particularly worried about this match. Torino, even if they do try sit back, sit deep, they're not good at that under Gianpaolo. Under Mazzarri, maybe, you could have said that at least that's something that they'll be good at doing. But Gianpaolo's teams are not good at setting up deep and trying to defend, so that's one thing I'm sure that we'll be able to find some openings and find chances to score goals. An interesting talking point watching Antonio Conte's press conference before the match today. He was asked about Christian Eriksen being possibly playing in that deeper CDM role, a la Pirlo, as you would say. Actually, he ignored the one journalist asked him, and he ignored it the first time round. He had to be asked the second time round, which clearly shows his annoyance with these Eriksen questions. But so he says that no, assolutamente no, per me non può farlo, è un ruolo che lo penalizzerebbe troppo. Christian calcia di sinistro e destro in modo importante. So basically he's saying, which I agree with, which is worrying. I agree with Conte on something, and I've seen a few Inter fans suggest this, Chris Eriksen as a CDM in a Regista role. It would waste him. He could play it. I slightly disagree with Conte, who pretty much thinks he can't play that role, but I think he could play it, if you really, really needed to. He kind of played it at Spurs at some points when in the 4-2-3-1, he was in the 2 centre mids. But as Conte says there, you're wasting what his best qualities are, which is, in the final third. This is a guy who's at Spurs. He was scoring 6-8 goals every season on a consistent basis, plus 6, 8, 10 assists on a regular basis. He does his best work in the final third. His shooting ability with his right and his left foot outside the box especially is top class. I think he had the most shot on target in the last 6-7 years in the Premier League from outside the box. It shows his quality. But the fact that we haven't seen it at Inter is different, because a lot of Inter fans haven't really got to see that, so they're questioning why we keep playing Eriksen when he doesn't create or shoot or score or anything. But in theory, those are his qualities, and that's what he still does for Denmark when he plays for Denmark. So I agree with him there. it would be different if Eriksen, let's say, was struggling even for Denmark. But the fact is the only problem at the moment is at Inter. He's fine when he plays for Denmark in that CAM role. So you change the player's position when he's struggling, when he's not playing well. Maybe, you know, his characteristics are changing, but nothing's really changed. It's just that he's not playing well for Inter at the moment, and Conte has not really managed to integrate him properly. In terms of predicted lineups, this is the Sky Sports Italy predicted lineups, which has Christian Eriksen in it, quite surprisingly, which it would be a surprise for me if he does start. But I do see him starting. I think, you know, Conte has shown that he does have some little faith left in Eriksen. I think he will give him some chances before the January transfer window, and, you know, I think he'll probably rather play him in the Serie A than the big matches in the Champions League. So here Gagliardini coming back in. Obviously, as soon as Gagliardini is fully fit, he's going to come straight back into the team alongside Barella. Sky Sports are putting Perisic in here, but most of the other lineups I've seen have put Ashley Young. But most importantly is the back three, De Vrij, Skriniar, Bastoni back, you know, the real, our best three centre-backs, which gives us a lot of solidity and, you know, hope going into the match that we're able to keep a clean sheet, which we have struggled to do this season. Hakimi back in the lineup, and most of the other predicted lineups showing Hakimi in there as well. Here we have the Gazzetta one, who I would say they usually get it more wrong than Sky Sports in general. They have the typical 3-5-2 with Ashley Young in there, but at the back they've got D'Ambrosio and Ranocchia, surprisingly, which I'm not really seeing. I don't think it's that we need such a heavy rotation yet. I think it's really important to get 3 points. I don't think it's worth the gamble of trying to rotate right now, which we will have to rotate in the coming matches because there's 10 matches in the space of 30 days, a match every 3 days pretty much. They also have Arturo Vidal starting there, which I'm not sure. I think he deserves a bit of a rest, but also who scored as well have Vidal and Gagliardini behind Barella. That's the thing this year. There's not you know, you can't really predict the lineup accurately because Conte is a lot more likely to rotate this year, and he still clearly does not know what his best starting 11 is, which is a little bit worrying. But, you know, we'll see tomorrow. But in my preference, I would like to see Eriksen starting. I would like to see Barella and Gagliardini there, give Vidal a little bit of a rest. But I would really like to see Raja Nainggolan being given more of a more minutes in the team, not just 5-10 minutes at the end of the match. Let's give him at least, you know, half an hour, 40 minutes to give, you know, at least try to make an impact into the match. That would be really good for me. And in general, as I keep saying, as the journalist in the press conference pointed out to Conte, Inter first in terms of expected goals, in terms of balls played into the box. They're the team that has the highest defensive line in terms of, you know, keeping the opposition deep in their half. You know, these are all really good signs in terms of, you know, the first in terms of chances created as well. And here I've pulled up one graph that made by @Kauspande on Twitter, really good account, recommended follow. He's having a look at, you know, which teams in Europe are efficient pressers, and if there's a relationship between good pressers and teams that play out from the pressure. And you see Inter are doing very well here. Dortmund and Leverkusen are the best up in the top right hand corner. Then we have Inter, who, you know, shows that, you know, they do press high quite well, and we play through the press really well, which you know, is a big improvement from past season, I believe, where, you know, I think if you think about it, we don't really lose the ball as much in lower parts of our build-up as we used to in the past under Spalletti and early on against Conte, with Conte, sorry. So yeah, all in all, as I keep saying, I have continued to have faith in this team. All the data showing the right signs. Obviously the points on the board and the goals that we've scored are not converting, they're not showing the actual results that we need, and this is a must-win match. 3 points are definitely needed. If we don't get 3 points in this match, the pressure does start to mount on Conte and on the players. We don't need that going into the Real Madrid match. So I'm predicting a 3-1 victory. I feel like we will create chances, but we will convert them. Lukaku is in amazing form. Martinez was also in good form for Argentina. So hopefully they bring that into Inter. And yeah, those are my match prediction. Let me know your prediction in the comment below. Are you agreeing with me, 3-1, or are you being too positive? Who would you start? Would you give Eriksen a chance? Who else would you want to see? Yeah, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you hopefully for a positive post-match reaction to Inter versus Torino. Ciao, Forza Inter.